In this video, I talk about 50 plus new features in iOS 9. First up is face down detection, which helps save battery life by turning off your screen when your iPhone is face down. When you search in the Messages app, iOS 9 will highlight the exact bubble where your search result appears. You can now search inside apps directly from Spotlight. So I searched for this term here and I found it in my Dropbox app. Tap on it, loads directly to the search result. Speaking of Spotlight, you can access it of course by swiping down on the screen, but now in a throwback move, you can swipe left on the main home screen as well. And in more Spotlight news, you can actually use dictation to dictate the search result that you are looking for in Spotlight. Low power mode helps save battery life in iOS 9 by eliminating effects like parallax mode and also by throttling down the CPU to save that precious battery life. Now, of course, Hey Siri is not a new feature in iOS 9, but the new setup process for Hey Siri is new. It actually tries to train itself to recognize your voice. So there's less false positives with regard to Hey Siri, and no doubt your phone is probably going off because I'm saying, that keyword so many times. But in iOS 9, you could see here that there is a much more rigorous training program. In fact, there was no training program in previous versions of iOS. So this is a first for Siri in iOS 9. Now, one of the really cool features in iOS 9 is the presence of universal links. So if you tap a URL, it can be a regularly formatted URL to take you to the app in question. And if the app isn't on your device, it'll take you to the web. Now, the breadcrumb structure in the status bar is, of course, new to iOS 9. You can use it to go back to the app that forwards you to the place where you currently are. You can also use it to go forward to a website instead of the app in question, just in case the app isn't working right or if you just want to go to the website for whatever reason. Now, this has been a long time coming. You can now swipe to delete alarm clocks and clocks in the stock clock app. Now you can also save websites as PDFs. Tap the share button in Safari, and then once the share sheet opens, tap the save PDF to iBooks button. It'll create the PDF, and once it does, it'll open the PDF in iBooks, just like this. So there's our PDF of iDownload blog. Super easy. If you'd like to request the desktop version of a website in iOS 9, just tap and hold the refresh button and then tap request desktop site. You can also use the share button to do so. Now, one of the big changes in iOS 9 is the newly redesigned app switcher. It looks similar to the old version, but this one is more of a deck-based structure. It's also better for the new breadcrumb infrastructure. And Handoff has been redesigned as well. Now your Handoff app will appear at the bottom of the app switcher and you can just tap on it, slide it on up like this to invoke Handoff apps right there from the app switcher. Looks good and it works great. Now, as you're going to see, Spotlight has a ton of new enhancements in iOS 9. One of them is the ability to solve math problems right within the Spotlight interface, which is absolutely wonderful. Makes it much closer to that of Spotlight for OS X. I absolutely love this feature. It's wonderful. The next Spotlight feature is the ability to do currency conversion right from Spotlight. Again, super handy, super useful. And Spotlight can also call, FaceTime, message contacts directly from the Spotlight search results. Again, super useful. And last but not least, Spotlight can give you sports scores as well. So you type in your favorite team's name, Vikings for instance, tells you the score. Now the podcast app got a brand new app icon. It's got a brand new interface inside the app. The app is much more akin to the stock music app now. It has the mini player, which allows you to access the now playing interface. It's really nice. Now, not to be outdone by the podcast app, the Notes app got some new features as well. If you tap this little plus button here, you get some new options. You can create checklists like this, which is really handy. And you have some additional options. You can add titles, headings, and things like that. Of course, you can add photos, but the real big deal here is the new drawing interface. You can actually draw in the Notes app, just like that, using all sorts of different tools. You can use markers, you can use pencils, you can use pens, you can change the colors. There's even a ruler to make straight lines if you want to do that. So the Notes app really is improved in iOS 9. Now the Photos app got some new smart folders that automatically filter selfies, automatically filter screenshots, super handy for someone like me who takes lots of screenshots. I love this. Now the News app is a brand new app for iOS 9. You can of course add some of your favorite websites in here, but there is even custom formatting and there's even exclusive stories that you'll find only within the News app, which is kind of cool. Now Apple News is still in its infancy, so it still has some issues here and there, but it's very promising. Now on iOS 9, Siri is much quieter. In fact, when you invoke Siri, it no longer makes the little trademark beep beep sound. It just vibrates your phone to let you know that Siri has been enabled. It still beeps on the iPad though. To be honest, this is one of my favorite features of iOS 9, being able to use quick reply for third-party apps. Yes, here's Twitter. I tap reply and look, you can actually quick reply without opening up the full Twitter app. You can reply to a third-party app that includes support for the new quick reply functionality. This is amazing. It's downright awesome, and it is one of my favorite features for iOS 9 by a long shot. In iOS 9, Siri is contextually aware of her surroundings, so if you're on a website and you say, "Hey Siri, remind me of this," then it'll say, "Hey, 1 second. All right, here's your reminder," and it saves the web page for you to let you know later. It is awesome. Now on iOS 9 for the iPad, folders can now contain up to 16 apps per folder page. You have a 4x4 layout now instead of the old 3x3 layout, which only allowed for 9 apps per page. Another iPad-only feature for iOS 9 is Slide Over. It allows you to slide in another app, view its contents briefly, and then go back to your original app just like that. But if Slide Over isn't enough, you can use Split View, which allows you to view 2 apps simultaneously and interact with both at the same time. Yes, both of them, as you can see, at the same time. That is Split View. Now you also have picture-in-picture mode on the iPad, which basically allows you to detach a video from its playing location, move it around the interface, resize it if you want to. You can do all this, browse your iPad, you can go back to the home screen if you want to, all that jazz. You can do it all while watching a video. It really does boost the productivity, or boost the multitasking potential at least, of the iPad on iOS 9. Now Notification Center also got a change in landscape mode for the iPad. You now have a dual pane setup for Notification Center on the iPad and landscape. Now you also have trackpad mode on the iPad, which allows you to drag 2 fingers on the screen just like this to position your cursor in a precise location. You can even use it to highlight text if you want to. Now external Bluetooth keyboard shortcuts have long been a feature of iOS for the iPad, but now if you hold the Command key, you get a listing of all the keyboard shortcuts that pertain to each specific app or each specific view within an app. So in the past, where keyboard shortcuts were sort of like a forgotten thing, where it was just kind of ambiguous, you really didn't know what was going on or what keyboard shortcuts did what, now you can know exactly what each keyboard shortcut does, and each app can have its own specific shortcuts. It really is a great feature for productivity enthusiasts. Now, the iCloud Drive app is a new application for iOS 9, which allows you to actually browse the iCloud Drive file structure. So you can go in, view all your files in iCloud Drive, and you can use the share sheet to interact with them. Now, if you like to attach photos to your mail messages, you'll be happy to know that you can actually mark up that photo directly in the Mail app. So you just invoke the copy and paste menu, tap markup, and now you can mark up that photo directly in the Mail app without actually going in to another image editor or something and going in and marking it up. You can do all that within the Mail app itself, which is just like it is on OS X. Obviously not quite as full featured as it is on OS X, but very, very similar, and it's a great tool, again, for productivity. Now in iOS 9, you can save pretty much any type of attachment. Attachments have gotten a lot more respect in iOS 9. You can save them to your iCloud storage if you want to. You can save to Dropbox or share them with other users using the share sheet. It's really, really nice and really well done. Now iOS 9 also brings special search parameters to the Mail app, so you can, for instance, easily find messages that have attachments. Now you could do similar things in older versions of iOS, but it works a lot better this time around. Now, you can also share voicemails using your share sheet. So you just tap on the voicemail that you want to share, tap your share button, and you're going to see something cool here. You can save to Dropbox or use any of your other share options. You can even airdrop it if you want to. I'm just going to save this to Dropbox. So I have this voicemail for as long as I want to keep it. out there on Dropbox. Now there's also new passcode options. You have a new 6-digit passcode, which is actually the default now, but you can also switch to custom alphanumeric, custom numeric, or back to your old school 4-digit passcode if you want. Now, Wi-Fi Assist is a new feature you'll find in Settings Cellular that allows you to automatically use cellular data when Wi-Fi connectivity is poor. Great for if you're like pulling out of your garage or something, you're leaving your house, but you're still connected to Wi-Fi. Now, Paste and Go is a really awesome feature. I'm going to show you right now. I copy that URL. I'm going to open up the Safari browser. I'm going to tap and hold on the address bar here and watch what happens. Paste and go. So now I can just paste, go directly to that website. I can also paste and search. Let me show you what paste and search looks like here. So I'm going to tap and hold, paste and search. It's going to put my search term in there, which was Roku Smart LED TV, just like that. Now, lost mode will automatically invoke low power mode. Watch this. So I tap lost mode. It's now in lost mode. You see low power mode invoked automatically, which gives you more time to recover your iPhone. Great feature. You can also search in the settings app now. If you just slide down like that, you can type in a search string. So I'm going to type in location. So I want to find out how to manage my location services here. So there you go. You find the right one, location privacy. That's it. And I'm taken right to location services just like that. Excellent. Now you can also see the current case of your letters on the keyboard. You see now it's lowercase. That's a new feature. And of course, when I'm ready to type uppercase, you're going to see uppercase letters, just like that. And it switches accordingly. Helps you to know what case you're currently in. Next up, Replay Kit. This is an awesome feature that lets you record your gaming progress and also add commentary. So you see that? I'm going to tap record screen and microphone so I can talk and record my gameplay progress and then share my video to my friends, or with my friends rather. I can use any sort of sharing app. I can upload to YouTube if I want to do that. In this day and age where people love to record their games and people love to watch games being played, this is a perfect feature. Now here it is. Here's the video I just recorded. And you can see no hands. And that is just what I just did right there in the game. Cool feature, huh? Now you can also use Touch ID to find your saved passwords. So if you go into settings, go into Safari, you tap passwords, you used to have to put in your passcode, now you can use Touch ID. Now you can also search your passwords. You couldn't do this before. Now you can easily search. If you have lots of passwords saved for Safari, this makes it a lot easier to find what you're looking for. Now, you see that regulatory information on the back of my iPhone? That's a thing of the past now. In the new iPhone 6s, you won't see that regulatory information on the back of your iPhone. Why is that? Well, if you go to settings, you go to general, and you go down to regulatory, you'll see why. It's all inside the software now. Now, you also have, as I showed you a little bit earlier, enhanced battery usage statistics. If you go into the settings battery, you'll see the battery usage section, which is underneath battery percentage. You tap this little clock icon, you can see some detailed statistics on background usage, on foreground usage, tells you how much overall usage it has. You can choose between last 24 hours and a set period of days. It's really cool. Now, speaking of battery, there's also a new battery widget in Notification Center. So if you have a paired Apple Watch, you can see the battery life for your Apple Watch inside Notification Center. And our last item on the list is the new high quality option for Apple Music streaming over cellular. Perfect if you have something like T-Mobile, which gives you unlimited Apple Music streaming. Folks, which one of these 50 new features is your favorite feature for iOS 9? Please let me know down below in the comment section and leave me a thumbs up if you appreciated this video. Let me know what you think. This is Jeff with iDownload Blog.